Why Our Goals Gather Dust and How to Clean Them. Narrative Wisdom and Habit Science, the old bookstore, the winding page, smelled of parchment, forgotten coffee, and a hint of old magic. It was the kind of place where time seemed to fold in on itself, much like the dog-eared corners of the thousands of books lining its cedar shelves. Eleanor, a woman whose dreams were always just a whisper away, sat in a velvet armchair nursing a lukewarm Earl Grey. Across from her, Professor Armitage, a man whose silver hair seemed to hum with untold stories, smiled knowingly over his spectacles. Another year, another list of resolutions gathered dust. Eleanor, he chuckled, gesturing to her notepad filled with neatly crossed-out aspirations. Eleanor sighed, the steam from her tea curling like a question mark. It's infuriating, Professor. Every January, I'm a titan of intention. Learn French, write that novel, run a marathon. By March, I'm just me, back to the same old, same old. Why do we keep doing this to ourselves? Professor Armitage leaned forward, his eyes twinkling. Ah, Eleanor, you've stumbled upon one of humanity's most perennial puzzles. Let's delve into the labyrinth of goal failure, shall we? Think of it as a grand adventure where our hero, determined Dave, faces various traps. 1. The siren song of the all-or-nothing approach. Our first trap, Professor Armitage began, is the alluring siren song of perfection. Dave decides he's going to become a master chef. He buys every high-end gadget, subscribes to gourmet magazines, and vows to cook a 5-course meal every night. Eleanor nodded. Sounds familiar? My French fluency in 3 months plan usually crashes on the rocks of the first irregular verb. Precisely, the professor exclaimed. When we set impossibly high standards, even small slips feel like monumental failures. Dave burns one soufflé, and suddenly, he's convinced he's a culinary fraud. He abandons the kitchen altogether. We forget that progress, not perfection, is the true North Star. Small, consistent steps build the momentum that willpower alone cannot sustain. The lesson: the biggest enemy of a good plan is the insistence on a perfect one. 2. The fog of vagueness. Next, we encounter the insidious fog. Professor Armitage continued, Dave wants to get fit, a noble goal. But what does fit mean? Does it mean running a 5K, lifting a tractor, being able to touch his toes? My write that novel goal usually devolves into staring at a blank screen, Eleanor admitted, a blush creeping up her neck. Exactly. Without a clear destination, you're just wandering, the professor said kindly. Goals need to be smart, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Instead of get fit, Dave needs to run a 5K in under 30 minutes by October. Instead of write a novel, you need to write 500 words every weekday morning. Vagueness is the assassin of ambition. 3. The lure of future self-illusion. Professor Armitage pulled out a dog-eared psychology textbook. This one's fascinating. We often envision our future self as a superhuman, free from the temptations of our present self. Future Dave will definitely hit the gym at 6 a.m. Future Eleanor will conquer the subjunctive mood. Eleanor laughed ruefully. Future Eleanor is a mythical creature, always more disciplined and less fond of Netflix. Indeed, this is present bias at play, the professor explained. We overvalue immediate gratification and undervalue long-term gains because we believe our future self will magically have more willpower. But future you is still you. Successful goal setters create systems that support their goals now, rather than outsourcing their discipline to a magical future transformation. 4. The pitfall of neglecting the microhabits. Imagine Dave wants to build a magnificent sandcastle, the professor illustrated. He gets excited about the spires and the moat, but he forgets about the fundamental acts: digging the sand, carrying the water, shaping the turrets. He focuses on the outcome, not the process. The process, Eleanor mused, that's where I get lost. The sheer monotony of practicing verbs. The daily, unglamorous actions are the bedrock of achievement, he emphasized. Think of atomic habits. If you get 1% better every day, you're 37 times better by the end of a year. We focus on the destination, but we neglect the vehicle. Goals are the where, habits are the how. 5. The monster of unchecked obstacles. Finally, Professor Armitage concluded, Dave wants to cycle to work. Great, but he lives on a steep hill, has a flat tire, and no rain gear. He starts, struggles, and quits. Did he fail, or did he simply not anticipate the monsters in his path? Sounds like me and my lack of a decent French tutor, Eleanor chuckled. When we romanticize the journey, we ignore the roadblocks, Professor Armitage explained. Successful goal setters spend time anticipating challenges. What will make this difficult? How can I mitigate those challenges before they derail me? Anticipate the storm and build your ark before the flood. Professor Armitage gently closed the textbook. So, Eleanor, it's not a lack of intelligence that trips us up. It's the psychological traps we set for ourselves. But once you recognize the pattern, you can change the map. Eleanor looked at her notepad, no longer a list of defeats, but a series of puzzles to be solved. I think it's time I stopped dreaming about future Eleanor, she said, picking up her pen and started helping present Eleanor write page 1. The Goal-Getter's Infographic Guide, the traps that stall your dreams, the pitfall, the problem, the solution. 1. The Perfectionist Trap. 1. Slip feels like total failure. Progress greater than perfection. Celebrate small wins. 2. The Fog of Vagueness, no clear target or finish line. Get SMART specific and measurable. 3. The Future Self-Illusion, expecting tomorrow's you to be magic. Systematize now. Help your future self. 4. Neglecting microhabits, ignoring the 1% daily actions. Process greater than outcome. Habits are the vehicle. 5. Unchecked obstacles, getting derailed by predictable issues. Build the ark, anticipate roadblocks early. Don't let your dreams end up in the graveyard. Understand the traps, adapt your strategy, and keep moving forward. Hashtag goal setting, hashtag habit science, hashtag the winding page, hashtag curiosity, AI, hashtag GABS global,